It is dark outside, so it is time for Crypto After Dark. Thank you all for joining. It's episode 2, brought to you by Constant Collab. I'm here with my boy Braulio. Braulio, what's going on? How you doing? What you got going on over there? You're on mute. You're on mute. Got that boy on mute. Yeah, I got you now. Yeah. Oh. How you doing, man? Nope. Bro, I have you every day. No problem. This is, I got a little double IPA to match you, so cheers. Yeah, cheers. Hope you're enjoying your... It certainly is. It's after 5 in California as well, so... But yeah, so let's, before we get started, just kind of a brief overview. We're going to jump into some charts, talk about, today we're going to focus on utility coins and what we call real projects, right? I think we joked around enough on both the lunch hour and Crypto After Dark about projects that are generally just memes and keep people, excited and participating, which is great. But there's also projects that move a little bit more slowly, at least at this stage in the game. And also let you sleep at night, right? So let's sort of jump into it. I'm going to go to my crypto watch list here, and new daily candles at 8 o'clock. So the percentage daily changes from on TradingView are not very helpful, but I do know one of the top coins from yesterday was the engine coin that we mentioned last night, right? If I can find it here. My eyes are terrible. I know it's on my list. Anyway, we can look at Axie as well. Axie had a good day yesterday. Let's see where it's looking at today. Pull this down a little bit. So Axie's still looking pretty good. I think there's probably still more room for the upside here with Axie. So we talked about that last night on Crypto After Dark when we mentioned some of the metaverse cryptos. Those are still doing well today. On this segment, we're going to move into more of our real world projects. One of our favorites here is Vechain. Vechain has a really nice formation right now. A lot of chatter about that today. And in general, as you can see the RSI at the bottom of the screen as well. But these coiling formations are really good for upside moves. We saw a lot of coiling historically with the lower volume and the lower trends. That obviously created large upside moves. So we sort of like when the price is able to consolidate and coil inside of these channels here. XRP as well. We have a pennant here sort of continuing to remain from some of the December lows, the January lows that we discussed on the Constant Collab Telegram. I think a lot of people, including BitBoy Crypto, have recently called for this to break out very soon, which is exciting. Brother. I think we're going to get one or the other, right? I think it's either going to be good or bad. I don't think this is going to remain much longer. Yeah. So yeah, and then a couple more real quick. Let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum is continuing mega strength here. Today on the lunch hour, we discussed Ethereum in I believe it was a Goldman Sachs article that had Ethereum going above 8,000 before this year's end. And I know this orange line is a little bit hard to see, but in here right here, this is the December time frame, and I'm already in this 9,000 range up here. So if you really look at the total market structure of this sort of bullish pattern here and this huge Nike swoosh formation, I like to call it, I think 8 or 9,000 is without very conservative. I think that's when retail and the doubters start to get in, And short squeezing also starts to happen because of all the pandemonium that happens there, and that's also when our favorite brokers go offline as well. So, um, you know. So with that being said, let's jump into it. I know this may seem basic to some of our viewers who have already been in the crypto space for a while, but the whole point of Constant Collab and the reason why Braulio and I do what we do is that there are a lot of folks who are behind. Only about 4 or 5% of the global population has really integrated themselves into this marketplace. And when it comes to their introductions to this market, they could have first seen it by Squid Game or some of the scams that are being shared on CNBC and the other mainstream media source outlets that are really just trying to distract you from some of the projects we're going to talk about today. So, Braulio, do you have anything else to say before we sort of dive into these different projects? Yeah. No. That's it. Well said. So, we'll jump right into that by talking about Ethereum. So, and I guess I'll segue that by cementing the story because what Braulio said is kind of funny. We were traveling in March of this year, just looking at some different charts together because we had a long wait before one of our flights. And one of the workers from the bar we were at came straight up to us and was like, "Is that Dogecoin?" And this was when Doge first started popping off in like March, April, before its April highs. And we just looked at each other and started cracking up. It's like, how many people are going to ask me about Dogecoin before they ask me about like Ethereum, for example? So we looked at the Ethereum chart. Obviously, Ethereum is close to 5,000 today, so that's a little bit high. But this is where crypto comes to get life, right? I think a lot of the shit coins and the other projects we see run on the Ethereum blockchain. So Ethereum was really the first to. Here's your portal into the world of Ethereum, right? They want you to succeed in crypto, and they want you to utilize the ERC20 or the other Ethereum projects to get your project going. It's also the key into a lot of different NFT worlds and different places, right? All of them are utilizing the Ethereum blockchain. It is easily the most popular at this time. So what is Ethereum? Ethereum is a technology that's home to digital money, global payments, and applications. The community has built a booming digital economy, bold new ways for creators to earn online, and so much more. It's open to everyone wherever you are in the world, and all you need is the internet. So, once again, NFTs, any of the new coins or open source projects that are trying to establish themselves in this market have been using Ethereum. I think one of the notes that one of the things I've noticed about Ethereum, and probably most intrigues its competitors, like I guess you can consider Solana, Cardano, Polkadot, Chainlink, any of those direct competitors to Ethereum, is their gas fees, right? And so we've come to this marketplace not only for the removal of the third party and peer-to-peer transactions, but we're also sort of tired of fees and that sort of environment. And so, Braulio, what do you think about Ethereum? And more specifically, have you had any direct experiences with high gas fees, especially if you participated in any shit coins or any international exchanges? If you want to talk about that for a little bit. That's absolutely insane. Right. Yeah. I mean, other it's that's one of those justifications that still doesn't feel good. It's like, damn, like I'm just saying that to say it, right? Like, yeah, yeah, 100%. Very well said. Good feedback there on Ethereum. I think Ethereum has been a great pioneer for the crypto space. I think folks argue that Bitcoin has no utility or is worthless, etc., and is the believers will call it just the store of value, whatever. I think Ethereum will eventually make its way there as well as cheaper and other resourceful blockchains continue in this marketplace as you just described. But for now, Ethereum has been a great way for the Internet of Things, aka the blockchain, to make its to make headway. In widely available, everybody loves the name. You know, yeah, yep, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Great segues to, talking about one of our favorite projects, which is XRP. Drum roll, please. Gangster bankster, central bank coin. Nobody wants this. Decentralized. What the hell are you doing? Why are you participating with XRP? We've heard it all. It's very good to hear. Even some of our most notorious bears. I'll give a shout out to Tori Corton, who's probably somewhat familiar with, and then BitBoy Crypto, who's also been very quiet about XRP. Is now sort of, you know, confirming or in Tori's case not trolling as much anymore to help the investor base realize that this is the future of transactions, in the sense that no other crypto is going to allow, what if Axie World and Decentraland need to do a merger one day or something, or what, that combine. I didn't say that was a great example, but combining two parties has never been easier with XRP. And at this stage, it's reliant on. So this coin is designed to trade currencies between any two parties. One of my favorite examples is an international business that has, for example, a bank in the United States and a bank in Canada. if the exchange rate is 1 to 130 Canadian dollars, 1.3 Canadian dollars, we'll say, and you're doing $1 million transaction, you're going to need 1.3 million Canadian dollars. Both parties are going to have to hedge the Canadian and US dollar in case there's any shifting between US dollars or Canadian dollars that could, disproportionately affect one party. For example, if the US dollar party, is receiving the US dollars and the US dollar loses 1% of value during that transaction, that $1 million transaction very quickly becomes a $990,000 transaction, which aggregately and over time is not okay for any business. They're counting pennies, in dollars, and that's just straight up waste. And so what XRP is designed to do is make that transaction possible between these two banks who are utilizing the XRP ledger in 4 seconds as with Braulio mentioned before, super low fees. There's not going to be high gas fees like there is with Ethereum, and it's going to allow both of these parties to access liquidity from this transaction almost instantly. So, but real quick before I have Braulio talk about XRP, I'm just going to read this excerpt. XRP is a digital asset built for payments. It's the native digital asset on the XRP ledger, an open source, permissionless, and decentralized blockchain technology that can settle transactions in 3 to 5 seconds. I like to go with 4. Anyway, but the one thing, and Braulio, we've talked about the SEC lawsuit a bunch of times. The lawsuit is not about whether or not XRP is decentralized. That is not what the lawsuit is behind. The lawsuit is about the creation of XRP and sort of their founders and their key stakeholder Brad Garlinghouse, and and how they've sort of allocated and collected their own XRP, and what the SEC is trying to sort of police as they either hold or dump that XRP onto the market. So Braulio, with that being said, what's your overall thought on XRP? Mm-hmm. Here you go. The current minimum transaction cost required by the network for a standard transaction is 0.0001 XRP or 10 drops. It sometimes increases to a higher than usual load. I mean, I've never paid more than $1 on an XRP transaction, and I've done some pretty big ones. anything, I'd like to be, a part of that, right? Oh, we're gonna get there. Yeah, yeah. XRP has been amazing. If not to beat a dead horse here, but we can talk about, like, here's another one: transaction settlement time. Bitcoin 60 minutes, Litecoin 10 minutes, Ethereum 2 minutes, XRP 0.07 minutes, whatever that means. For
deal with the gas fees on the network, but still there was couple weeks ago there was a NFT drop on OpenSea, and it killed the network. There was literally no transactions moving. The gas fees were outrageous. So don't get me wrong. Again, crypto or Ethereum has been the pioneer when it comes to smart contracts, but it's definitely falling behind. Hopefully, this update comes sooner rather than later. So that's all I have to say about XRP and Ethereum. I'm sorry, Brian.
No, I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you talked for so long as well. That was your longer segment so far in the show, and I'm saying that because we have one of our gracious viewers, Jay Campbell, logging in to let me know that he couldn't hear you very well. The only reason he can hear you is because he could hear you coming out of my headphones into my mic, but I hadn't.
Oh, oh, oh,
Oh,
oh,
no,
oh,
no,
oh.
no, no, no. It was me, OBS noobs here for our viewers. Braulio and I are very ancient to the crypto space, but we're a little bit newer to the OBS space, and
To the streaming period.
I had not added the audio output capture to show 3, which we just created today, which means that everything that you were saying, was very.
Oh,
But we're good now. Um,
okay, okay,
and good
okay.
news is I did most of the talking at the beginning, so that's fine.
Yeah,
But everything
didn't
Braulio,
miss didn't miss much.
they didn't miss much, but I think people could still hear you because of the way my headphones work. But anyway,
Okay, okay.
I'm not gonna have you repeat any of that. The good news is we love XRP. You can
Now,
ask us.
now financial advice by XRP.
There you go. That's a good segue. I'm gonna show you all the Ripple net map really quick as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the Ripple net map was one of my favorite um, tools for, I guess, letting our family and loved one knows, like, this is a big deal. So before you could access this map, and I'm gonna pull it up for you just now, but I asked for access today. Please let me see the XRP Ripple net map. I'll do it again. Requested access again. But what you could do with this map is it's a global map, and you could click in and zoom in on different countries, and based off of where
Mm-hmm.
that bank or financial institution's corporate headquarters or participating business units body was, you could click in and see all of the different places that had already accepted, integrated, and partnered with the XRP ledger. And then obviously those orange ones are um, Bitcoin places as well. So, taking a look at this map of Japan, you can't even see Japan. This is Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It's covered by a sea of triskelions here, which is the Ripple logo, and then globally you can see where some of the different banks are. Obviously, it's got the 6 continent spectrum now. Um, you know,
And
Go ahead.
just so that people know, Brian, SBI is a huge. They have a conglomerate of banks in Japan. They've partnered with Ripple. They utilize ODL, on demand liquidity in Japan. Japan has been a huge fan of Ripple, which I find very interesting because Ripple is an American company. They operate, their headquarters is in San Francisco, but all pretty much, any developed country, foreign country, has adopted XRP, and they don't see it as a security or anything like that.
Right.
But we are attacking our own companies. Come on, like, really?
Yeah.
Welcome to America.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's really a theme of constant collab, right? It's the whole point of getting into these markets, understanding these markets, and to be honest, it's a reason why most don't get into it, because they believe America, they believe that it's all a scam, and they don't want to participate in this. But these banks, these institutions, and these financial conglomerates that are participating, the colors rhyme. They don't care about borders or governments or regulations even per se. They care about making money, and they're integrating this because they need liquidity.
Right.
We're printing money at an egregious rate across all of our globe. It's not just an America problem. Great Britain's suffering from it. Everyone's inflating their local assets for the most part, and this is
And
the
that's
solution.
that's exactly why JP Morgan said this morning, that inflation is going to be one of the reasons why Ethereum reaches $8,000. I personally don't think that that's the only reason, but that's why people are running into, cryptocurrencies, an asset that is not controlled by any given government. So that's the way that people are moving. That's what the people want. And can it be regulated? Can it be pushed out from a country by the government? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, China did it, but it can't be killed by any given government. I mean, again, countries in Latin America, they're adopting it, they're picking it up, they're making Bitcoin legal tender left and right. So it's the future. It's where we're going. And these projects that we're mentioning, they're places where people can put their money and feel comfortable at night. They can sleep at night. It's not something that they're gonna get rug pulled and they're gonna lose all of their investment.
Like
so
Squid Game.
Like Squid Game.
All right. So with that being said, another non-rug pull is Solana. So let's talk about Solana. Another open source decentralized blockchain built to scale and trying to help small businesses, large businesses, anybody with a use case essentially utilize their ecosystem, right? So Solana.
Brian, sorry to cut you off real quick. If you don't mind, can you pull up the Solana chart for the year?
Oh yeah, sure.
No I just want to see. Solana has gone on a great run, in the last, I want to say 12 months. Yeah.
Yeah. So these prices down here are, you can't really see very well, but this is like 15 cents or so down here in January of last year. This right here is May of this year at $50 some, and today we are at 223 and still skyrocketing. I mean, this chart wants to go higher. So
yes, there are a lot of people on Twitter, people on YouTube calling for $1,000 Solana by the end of the bull run. Again, people, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know if what they're saying will happen. I honestly think there's a lot more upside for Solana. But yeah, I mean, it's gone on a crazy run. Even, you just have to go back 12 months. We're talking about, 1,000%, 10x since January. So it's a great project. And a lot of even, financial institutions and hedge funds, they are looking into Solana, and a lot of them are upset that they missed the run. So that's that. I just wanted people to see that. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm just, don't mind me. I'm just laughing at this chat right now that I've been neglecting for a second. We're getting some live feedback on the mics tonight, which is good. But
yeah, definitely.
100%
definitely.
on Solana. Braulio and I, as the more outspoken folks in the Constant Collab Telegram chat, sometimes people are like, how do we miss this, right? But, in general, Solana has done this a lot more organically than some of the projects we follow. So that's to be respected. I think in general, it's going to obviously sustain its space. I worry about this sort of gap in this chart. So, you know, without talking too technically on Solana, this website's awesome. It has a lot of great information on its ecosystem, some of the partnerships, and some of the other things that you can do with this project. So please do check it out. But I do think there's some room for it to go down, and I'll look at the monthly chart as well. There's certainly some room. There's certainly some room for it to go down. What is that monthly RSI? 95
off the charts.
95. I actually have to, like, not financial advice, ask people to sell this right now.
Yeah, like so that's my thing. And to your point, you know, that people say how we missed this and that. It's impossible to. There's what 13,000 different crypto projects right now.
Yeah,
it's just impossible to keep track of all of them. It won't happen. I mean, I looked at Solana at $1, and then I was like, well, I'm invested in these projects that I like. I'm just gonna keep my money where it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 200 times that by now. Do I regret not buying into Solana? Hell yeah, 100%. Anybody would. But and to Brian's point, I would not buy this at this point. There's a higher probability of it coming down than going up. I
would 10x short this right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
just technically,
you know, people. So yeah, just looking at a technical chart, and I agree 100%, Brian. Again, there's a higher probability of it going down than coming up. And if you guys, you know, if any of you guys want to jump into Solana, wait for a pullback. You know, wait for a 20, 30, 40% pullback, and then be like, you know what? This is my buying opportunity. I like this project. I researched it. I'm gonna dollar cost average my way in. That's the only way I recommend that move. But that, I said it earlier today, you know, buy big green candles, get big red dildos.
That's right.
That's all I gotta say. So
trademark it. All right, so that was Solana. Great project still. Again, we do think there's going to be some downside, but still an amazing project. Great for them.
I mean, a lot of people are building on the ecosystem, so it's great.
Absolutely. Moving on to Cardano. Cardano's, you know, very similar in nature. Revisiting the Cardano chart, Cardano has had a much more modest and organic approach here. This Cardano chart's a little bit.
I think you're looking at the monthly.
I know, but it only had like 6 months. I didn't like that.
Oh.
We want something old like Binance. Oh, look at this old Binance chart I have with the. I obviously made this chart a long time ago, but anyway, you can see it bounced off of this trend line that I made several times, and is continuing to follow suit there. Cardano was heavily preached by Braulio early in my crypto days. Big believer in Cardano. It had one of the best returns ever, just lingering at 1 cent for 2 years and then going up to $3 this year. I do think there's probably a little bit more downside with Cardano. But in general, for those of you who don't know about Cardano, it's a blockchain platform for change makers. That's their brand. Innovators and visionaries with the tools and technologies required to create possibility for the many as well as the few and bring about positive global change. So no different than even a Vechain, which we're about to talk about next, or any of the other open source projects, but they really want to attract corporate, private, small, large, any size investor with a process and something that they need to track in order to you know, I'm not trying to sell software by any means here, but they want to be able to integrate whatever you have going on and make that a better place for you. And through that open source and an open platform approach is how they hope to claim a higher gain of the market share in the future and sort of overtake the Solanas, the Polkadots, and the Ethereums that are making a more price per share impact in the market. Braulio, what do you want to say about Cardano? And more importantly, what about the partnerships, especially from a a government perspective, like, right? I think, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you've been big on talking about larger government
Yeah,
structures that like Cardano as well.
that's one thing, you know, that Charles Hoskinson is really focused on is, you know, the undeveloped world, you know, country like Ethiopia, Burundi. He really wants to, just like the Twitter CEO, I totally forgot his name. They're very focusing, you know, the undeveloped world. They're trying to bring technology and make it better. Just, I want to say 3 months ago, they signed a partnership with Ethiopia to uh, digitize their educational system, bring it to the blockchain. You know, they'll be able to put report cards and books and all of that on the Cardano blockchain. Burundi, I think they just signed like 2 weeks ago. They're trying to do the same thing, you know, uh, bring their educational system, their schools to the 21st century. They have the Cardano Fund or something like that. I think it's called, uh, yeah, IOHK Fund or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing developers into their ecosystem. They have their own language, their own programming language. I mean, like I said, like Brian just said, Cardano has been one of my favorite projects since, you know, before Shelly. I remember, you know, my crypto friends telling me like, oh, Shelly will never launch this and that. And now Shelly launched, making Cardano the most decentralized cryptocurrency in the world. Um, and then the new update brought smart contracts back in October, August, end of August. I think it launched. So now Cardano is the most decentralized. It has smart contracts. It's super cheap to transact in, and it's definitely. I don't know if it's going to be the Ethereum killer, like a lot of people try to paint it as, but it's definitely going to be competition for Ethereum. Uh, Again, just like any of the other projects that we're talking about, I think it has a future. It's a safe place where you can put your money and sleep at night.
Absolutely. One of my favorite and most relatable examples to what we talk about as the Ethereum killer is who's the American Online killer in 1997 and 1999. Everybody's talking about Netscape, Earthlink. I don't want to go through and make anybody Hotmail. I don't want to make anybody feel old here or talk about, you know, dinosaur type
Right.
technologies, but all of these companies were going for the same thing. They wanted to provide email and internet access and then anything else that they thought consumers could get their hands on at the early stages of the game. So while Ethereum is surely the American Online is dead today, and most people would see the internet in a lot of different facets. And so that's what we keep in mind here.
Yep.
And those stories are completely scalable. And so Cardano is certainly a sleeper. We like it because it's got it's got a little bit more reality in the chart. I will say that this area scares me a little bit, but we have support off of the previous all-time highs. So
Mm-hmm.
I like this area to hold during this elongated bear market. I'm not sure if it sees higher highs again and then comes back down, but I like this area to hold, and I think it's going to be a great project for investors going forward, and certainly don't think it has any risk of going outdated as it's continuing to develop and work with emerging countries. And
Yep.
with its African presence, a lot of people have a lot of 2050 goals for Africa as well, including Bill Gates. So definitely for something for Cardano
And
to keep in mind.
Africa's definitely a sleeping giant. You know, that's where Jack Dorsey, Twitter CEO, the name came to me. You know,
Nice.
that's where he's going. That he's trying to, you know, develop Africa and try to bring Bitcoin to them and you know, newer technologies and just bring them to the 21st century. You know, there's definitely money to be made in Africa by helping the people there and bringing them to, you know, where the rest of the world is. So
Absolutely.
definitely a sleeping giant there.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk. We got two more projects to talk about tonight. Vechain, one of our favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Vechain is the public blockchain that derives its value activities created by members within the ecosystem, solving real-world economic problems. I love Vechain. I follow Vechain on LinkedIn. I think a lot of its projects are really organic by nature. It also has, on the polar scale, a very large corporate presence with PwC and Walmart China, which are two of my favorite partnerships to talk about in all of the blockchain space. I love that XRP's with the central banks. I love Cardano being with local and state and federal governments.
Governments.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I love that aspect, but I love how Vechain is trying to. It seems to be more open scale than any of the other projects that I talk about in general, and I love the fact that it's got these large scale partnerships, and certainly it's China's baby, right?
Yes. That's one thing that I wanted to mention. That's 100%. And that's one thing that makes it attractive to me. It's rare when China embraces something that they're not 100% in control of.
Right.
And definitely Vechain is one of those projects that they've taken under their wing, and they wanted to thrive there. And I mean, Vechain is changing the supply chain game. Being able to track your fish from literally the fisherman to your table. I mean, that's insane. That's what they were focused on. I mean, a lot of people are now developing on the Vechain network. They have NFTs just like every other blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
and other companies are developing on it. But the Vechain Foundation, they've always been focused on supply chain tracking, and apparently China likes that. So if China likes it, I'm not gonna lie, I like it too. So
yeah, no doubt.
they're protecting it, and I think it's definitely a good project. It's a great project to be invested in.
100%. This chart's also super healthy. Shout out to our peers in the Constant Collab Telegram chat who are buying Vechain under this sort of support structure right here. If you look very closely, right, these two wicks from this month and this month really solidify this support line here, and then we have a beautiful sort of cup structure coming into Vechain. I think we made a post recently on the Instagram channel for Constant Collab. This asset could, I think 50 cents is modest. I think we've seen as high as 250 calls for this cycle. I think this is really bound to sort of blow up here, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean,
here's that 250 call, sorry, on the logarithmic scale here. But this is just a really beautiful looking chart.
I definitely see it at least touching $1, and I feel conservative with that number. We're talking about what, 8x, 800% gain from where we are now. That's definitely doable by the end of this bull run. Not financial advice. Again, I think it's a great project to be invested in. They have good partnership with China, good partnerships with Walmart China, and people are building on the blockchain, which adds more value to it. And to your point, Brian, we've been talking about this project for over a year on that Telegram group, and it's something that people should definitely look into investing.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of these buys too, well under a penny here. So
absolutely,
I can't even believe that. And then Vechain also has its smart contract token, the VThor token. Again, those were some microscopic buys, still at a penny today. I can see very good value out of this. As you can see, this chart is very healthy looking with this double, loop-de-doop-de Nike swoosh formation here. And up here is, the 40, 50 cent region. So again,
and I love it when I see a chart do that, go up and then come back and test support, and then it continues on that pattern. You want it to go up, come back, test it, and then continue.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't want it to just keep going up. That's just not healthy for any project, any company, anything that you put money in. For something to just keep going up, it'll come down just as fast, if not faster.
Like Solana.
I didn't want to mention any names, but
I mean, to be honest with you, and we're gonna move on to our last project of the night, but we talk about this all the time, but why? I'd love to be 10 grand into a 1/1000th of a penny crypto. Don't get me wrong, but I'd also like to sleep 8 hours a day and have other things going on in my life. We've got a lot of people getting married, and people's babies being
Right.
born, things of that nature. And so in general, I'm not trying to make a joke, but I feel like it's really hard to put your eggs in all these baskets and feel that there's any long-term value or any investment value. We sort of skip that, hey, my parents invested and made 6 to 10% a year on S&P returns, to, hey, I need to make 400% tonight on Elon Doge, or
Right.
I'm gonna starve.
And that's one thing that we've said before, and I'm going to say it again. It's perfectly fine, if you want to put $1,000 in a meme project, but do that after you set up a nice portfolio that will make up for any losses that are accrued by gambling in a meme project. That's fine. First buy the XRPs, the Solanas, the Cardanos, the Vechains, the Stellars, and then take some money and gamble. And even you can, and some of your profits that you make on those projects, be like, hey, you know what, this is some play money, let me put it on Doge. Then that's fine. I'm never going to tell you not to do that. At the end of the day, you're not playing with your own money at that point. So that's something that you need to consider. So I'm going to let Brian bring up the next project that we're going to talk about.
The Stellars, you said. The last project we're going to talk about tonight is the Stellars, Stellar Lumens. And at its genesis, Stellar Lumens was the quote unquote the IBM project. I loved saying that at the beginning as well. I don't know if it's whether or not we can't find anything about IBM anymore, or whether or not IBM has removed itself from this project. But in general, when you think about going to TJ Maxx or Marshall's with your mom growing up, or going to the grocery store and you look at that printer and you see that IBM over there in the corner, IBM is the king of transactions, right? And I think, with their business model, getting into this space was a great idea for them. And I think a lot of folks have seen Stellar Lumens as the silver sister to XRP as the gold standard, right? So you've got XAG and XAU, and you've got XLM and XRP, right? The silver and gold of the X marks the spot type indicators from a forex standpoint, right? So Stellar has gone back and forth with what its use case has been, but there's never been any mistake with the fact that it's actually almost identical to XRP. The fees, the speed, and all of its aspects are almost identical. So a lot of people have really missed out on this, or maybe have mistaken it, or have worried that it's being overtaken by XRP. But I think with news like MoneyGram being concerned about XRP's fake lawsuit and moving from XRP to XLM and other cases, that XLM will certainly find its space. I'm starting to see XRP as the true central bank coin. If you look at global liquidity and the fact that there's only 100 billion XRP in the world, it may be really reserved for central banks, and maybe XLM is used for these remittance markets and these local and smaller banks that we've talked about remittance before. But if you really think about global liquidity and the fact that it's over $100 trillion, XRP needs a really high price for 100 billion of them, or 99 billion of them, to do any damage. And so with that being said, and not to overshadow XLM with XRP, Braulio, what do you think about XLM, and do you agree or disagree with its footprint in the global marketplace?
No, I mean, I agree with you 100%. And just, so people know, Jet McCaleb, the founder and creator of XLM, he was actually a co-founder and developer of XRP. He actually, along with Andrew Schwartz, developed the XRP ledger. So after, he was done with Ripple and XRP, he moved over, to do a P2P blockchain. That's what he wanted. He saw that Ripple was moving more into to the banking system. He was like, you know what, people still need something to transact within each other. So let me create this, and this is where the birth of XLM came from. I think it's a great project. And to your point, I do think that XRP just plays better with central banks and big banks, big financial institutions, just to free up that liquidity. and then let XLM play with, peer-to-peer and smaller banks. I think there's definitely a world for both of them. A lot of people, all crypto guys, they think that it has to be an all or nothing kind of thing when it comes to crypto. I don't think like that. I think that there is a world for Ethereum, Cardano, and Solana, all of them to to exist in, and that's how I feel about Stellar and XRP. I think that they can make the world. They both can make the world a better place, and if both of them are around, I think it's even better. So yeah, no, I think there's definitely a future for the both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's a common currency strength meter that can be used as an indicator in the Forex market. But these are 8 global currencies that people forget about: Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, euro, British pound, Japanese yen, New Zealand dollar, right? These are all currencies being utilized by global marketplaces, right? This one has 2 more. The NOK and the DKK, right? So these are also currencies being used across, global markets right now. So to say that there can't be 10 or 15 successful cryptos is obviously a mistaken. I think there's certainly room for a lot of global players, as certainly as as the global marketplace continues to grow.
And Brian, there's so many utilities when it comes to crypto that people just haven't been able to fathom. They don't understand it. They don't get it. So if you take one example that I like to bring up to people, if you take a house, for example, a house is usually not considered a liquid asset. But let's say I take a house, I buy it for $100,000, and then I develop a coin, a cryptocurrency to represent the value of that house. So I take it, I divide it into 10 cryptocurrencies. I take those and I sell it to 10 individuals for $10,000 each. I just took an illiquid asset and I turned it into a liquid asset.
You gave yourself liquidity.
Exactly. And if you, as one of the investors into that house, you no longer want to have ownership in it, you can take that coin and sell it to somebody else that want ownership into that house. So you're literally taking any liquid asset and turning it into a liquid one. You can do that with a house, a business, literally anything, art, everything. It can literally turn it into liquid assets by putting it on the blockchain. And that's something that people are yet to understand. And, we're talking about quadrillions of dollars, in worldwide finance and whatnot that can be brought into the blockchain just for people to paint a picture for people and for them to see what the blockchain can do for the world, period.
100%. I think we're still very new at this space, and to your point, I hope that those our viewers and those watching really catch a glimpse of what you're speaking, because there's still so much room. There's so much room and so much time, and I hope that we can all capitalize on what you're describing, because we have a lot of potential to make big waves and impacts for those around us and those that we care about, and have something to stand for after this, right?
5 to 10% of the world population owns crypto. A lot of people say like, oh, this is the internet in 1999. No, I think this is still DARPANET. Like the internet, it's not being programmed, by household people yet. We're 1991 internet.
So don't move past 1997. I keep saying 1997 and trying to think that like every day maybe we'll be at like 1998, but I think we're still at 1997. I think it's going to take 100,000 Bitcoin and above and some really big FOMOing events to get more people involved. And as more people get involved, they get more invested through their downfalls because they bought the highs and they still believe in it, and then they research it more, and then they realize like, hold on, honey, the life savings aren't gone. And
this is literally a game of patience, just like any other investment. If you go back to 2002, you could have gotten Amazon at $3.
Yeah.
20 years later, it's worth 3,000. So this is a game of patience. You literally, this is the middle, not not financial advice. This is the this is the middle of a bull cycle. If you were to buy now and you wait 10 years from now and go back to look at your investment, you will not be disappointed. Not financial advice.
Smooth Jazz
But
105.
you know, you see where I'm coming from though? Like even if you were to buy now and just forget about it, 5, 10 years from now, you will not be disappointed in your investment. You know, granted, don't put money in that you're not willing to lose. You know, there's risk in any investment that you can buy. I mean, Amazon could have disappeared in 2005. Who knows? But
This your boy Braulio, not giving you financial advice.
not financial advice at all. But yeah, I mean, look into do your own research and look at these projects that we're mentioning, you know, and then be like, you know what, I can put $1,000 here now. Let me just put it in. And then next year I might put another 1,000 and just roll like that. DCA your way into any project that you want to buy. I feel like I always go into a rant when I'm talking about crypto. I don't know what it is, man.
It's just, it's all that not financial advice that gets to you, man. You just get excited.
It's the passion, man. It's the passion.
You know, I think that's a great segue into a closing statement. You know, I'm pulling up our YouTube channel because it really, this was built on passion. I remember talking to Braulio, you know, during some of the troughs and some of the downturns and saying like, hey, if we don't tell people about this, it's going to be a problem. And his first response was nobody listens. And I completely agree. It's why one of the things we recommend is that you do your own research. It's not our job. We don't really care that you listen to us as much as you make an impact on your own life. It's also why we encourage you to join Constant Collab and tell us what we're missing. You know, I think we miss out on a lot of things ourselves. We're looking for any way that we can improve both this podcast and our own personal lives. So if you've got an asset, if you've got something you'd like to mention, please join our Telegram chat. Please link us. Please subscribe. Please let us know. Please ask us to join our show. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to have you on. We'd love to have a conversation about what you think about these assets. And certainly I appreciate those of you who have logged in and joined us so far. And with that being said, please tune into the lunch hour tomorrow at lunchtime, probably around 12:15, and for another episode of Crypto After Dark tomorrow night. So thank you all very much, and that's going to be a wrap for today.